What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Fare Thee Well Part 4. I don't know what that intro was, but we're back with Fare Thee Well, and I'm excited to see where this is going, because things are a little, confusing right now, I guess you could say. We're with the truck driver. Well, not yet really. He's downshifting and seeming like he's slowing down, but we're gonna see if he's gonna pick us up, or hit us, or just blow right by us. Who knows? We're about to find out. Here we go. A few short seconds pass and the driver begins downshifting again, the engine braking, indicating to me that I am about to replace the drone of insects and the heat of the sun with the rhythm of an engine and the chill of air conditioning. The truck passes me slowly, coming to a halt just a few yards later, the hiss of the air brakes and the solid rattling thumb of the engine waiting for me. I walk up to the door as the window smoothly slides down, and I step on the running board with a hand on the mirror brace to render a greeting to who will be my traveling companion for God knows how long. Morning, sir. Where are you headed? I feel genuinely friendly as the two of us engage in that age-old... Did something just move on the background, or was that my brain? I think that was my brain. I don't know. The light is like right by the monitor, so it gets kind of blinding, and I'm probably seeing things. I thought I saw something move by the tree. Anyways, back to the story. I feel genuinely friendly as the two of us engage in that age-old mutual summing up that travelers have always done, leaving a gut instinct about trust. It takes mere seconds for both of us to decide. Is that Levis or Levi's? I'm gonna go with Levis just to throw some uniqueness out there. Levis? Is that what I said? Levis? I don't know. I'm gonna go with it. Levis, just south of Quebec City, running straight through Maine. He has an accent straight out of the American northern Midwest, and looks to be about 50 years old. I cannot remember the last time I thought that was old. How about you? As far as you'll take me, if that's alright, sir. Hop in. Let's put on some miles behind us then, buddy. I swing the heavy door and slide in. Okay, I get it now. I swing the heavy door wide and slide in, then set my pack at my feet before closing the window and belting myself in. I never thought about 18-wheelers having a new car smell, but this one did. It was obviously new to the road and very well maintained. Wow, this truck is beautiful. The trucker laughs, then pats the large center console lovingly. She's not even 3 months old. We're still getting used to each other. The trucker is wearing a gray t-shirt and jeans with a ball cap with the American flag on the front. I like this guy. He has two faded green tattoos, one on each arm. His hair is cut a little short on one side and hasn't shaved in a couple of days by the looks of it. I drove my last truck for about 20 years, but she decided that she'd run her last mile. It still feels a little weird driving without her. The way the trucker spoke about his truck felt instantly familiar. I found myself nodding and understanding. This one's new though. I think she and I are going to be great together for the rest of my time on the road. So where do you call home? You're sitting in it. I've been living on the road and out of motels for years. Being gone so much was never a good fit for a home life. And besides, I have a bit of a wanderlust. I can relate. I bet you can. As far as you are from, well, anywhere. The trucker spoke while he smoothly shifted gears, the powerful truck pulling its load effortlessly, the vibrations of the huge engine absorbed by surprisingly comfortable seats. The AC felt rejuvenating, too. Yeah, I've been traveling for most of my life, first in the army, then when I got home from the war. I just couldn't sit still, been on the road ever since. I tend to stick around a place for a while myself, and then it just feels like it's time to go, I guess. Yep, I know what you mean, buddy. Once I got home from the war, I never really felt like I fit in, no matter how much I wanted to. I didn't understand why, and figured I'd find what I was looking for out on the road. And did you? To be honest, I'm not sure, but I did find happiness, and that's what all the hippies were always talking about, so I guess at least I found something. I think there's a certain freedom to keep moving, to keep and moving? Oh, it's good. The Southern, got it. I think there's a certain freedom to keep it moving. Plenty of time to think, that's for sure. I drive when I feel like resting. I stop. Oh, I drive, and when I feel like resting, I stop. As long as I stay on schedule, nobody pays me much mind, and that's just fine with me. As the trucker shared a bit of his life with me, I watched the coiled cord for the CB radio set sway. Plenty of time to think. The trucker and I really do seem to have a lot in common. Sometimes I think that I've probably missed out on quite a bit of life. Though, to be honest, I mean, I have family and I keep up with them well enough. So I sort of let them live more normal lives for me, if that makes any sense at all. I think that makes a lot of sense. I've tried the normal life a few times, but I always end up back on the road in the end, waiting for the next stop. You ought to think about driving some trucks. You ought to think about driving some trucks. You ought to think about driving trucks. It seems like you're a good fit for it. Better than walking all the time, that's for sure. I've never considered it, to be honest, but I see your point. I'm not sure if the pace would feel quite right, though. Walking has such a familiar feel to me for me. Now, I'm not sure if I would like the change. Most people are creatures of habit, you can't deny that. In a way, being a drifter is a habit too. I can't disagree, although for me, it's as much of a need as a habit, no matter... My reading is so bad. I can't disagree, although for me, it's much a need as it is a habit. No matter how much I like a place, I just can't stay. Eventually, it's time to go, whether I like it or not. Some of us aren't meant to put down deep roots, buddy. The deeper the roots, the harder it is to tear yourself away when it's time to leave. I imagine you're right about that. Our conversation falls off into comfortable silence, the world outside passing by. My eyes move to the distant... that was like both characters at once. My eyes move to the distance ahead, taking in the slow approach of the forest and roadside meadows, and following the minor gradual turns as the road makes its way northward. Looking out of the side window and focusing a little closer reveals how fast we're... Whoa. I didn't know that scrolling would change it. Huh. Anyways, looking out of the side window and focusing a little closer reveals how fast we are really going. The trees more of a blur, the details outside more elusive and difficult to focus on. It's about perspective, really. Looking forward into the future, same theme. Things seem farther away. Moving more slowly, you can take time to consider it, to think about where you might be going. Looking around at where you are in the moment, that feels more fleeting. The pace is quicker, it can be difficult to fully notice all the details before things change. The past, however, is always here, frozen in memory. You have the rest of your life to think about it, reflect upon it. In my case, there is plenty of time to think about the past. Too much time, actually. I wish that I had the luxury of living in the moments without a specter of the future always looming in the background. Always knowing that no matter what, I always have to leave. Real quick, I wanted to say, even though I messed up with the reading a million times, the story and the dialogue is so good. This is a very good story, and I really like what they're doing with it. Because it's very true and real. Even though, sure, there is not someone that is cursed with eternal youth and is living forever and seeing everyone die around them and whatnot, everything he has to say is extremely true and accurate, and it's put into words actually really well. Even though that I keep messing up with reading it, it does make a lot of sense and is very good. So let's continue. I just wanted to say that real quick. Did I read this one? I don't know. I wish that I had the luxury of living in the moments. Yep, I did. People living their lives so often seem to be able to appreciate things in the moment so long as they slow down for a bit, building memories as their natural pace. For them, there's a beginning and an end. The middle part is life. I would like to take my time for once. Many people say I feel rushed. I feel the opposite. An inexorable in an inexorable expiration of each period of normal. They have a finite amount of life, and can live normally within the time that they are given, whereas I, with nothing but time, struggle. Perspective, it affects the way we live. The passing of time, I think, does too. No matter what happens, I always end up gradually losing sync with everyone around me. Relationships, friends, co-workers. Every time I find a good place, a good thing, the clock starts ticking. The longer I stay, the louder the ticking. And the more out of sync I become, and the deeper my roots could reach. Eventually, I must move on. I rip myself out of that life, tearing others in the doing, and leave that normalcy behind forever, as well as the emotional wreckage shared with everyone who will never understand why. I know deep down inside that it's best to avoid making any meaningful connections because I will have to move on, and I hate myself for making anyone share that pain. They don't deserve it. But once in a while, a connection just happens. I wish that I could enjoy that simple human experience without the inevitability that shadows what should be something beautiful, something simple and warm. Always that damned shadow, always. I am lost in thought, traveling through time in my own head, when an all too familiar name, a name that whoa, hold on. I know who it's gonna be, but I still want to read this. I am lost in thought, traveling through time in my own head, when an all too familiar name, a name that I have been desperately trying not to think about, demands that its presence be known. Emmeline. I speak it out loud, not realizing that the trucker might hear it over the sound of the engine. Emmeline, huh? Is she why you've been lost outside that window for the past hour? His half-smile is simultaneously knowing and wry. I exhale an empty laugh. I wonder... Laughed? Nice one, Cameron. Nice one. I exhale... Did I say exile the first time? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me. I exhale an empty laugh. I wonder if he isn't right about that. The trucker lets the moment sit for a few seconds, and then cocks an eyebrow. It's funny, as much as I love my old truck, I never gave her a name. Some truckers do, the sentimental ones anyway. I wonder why I never named her. At first I thought he had dropped his interest in Emmeline's name in my contemplation, but as the trucker spoke, I realized that he wasn't delving into his fellow traveler's life, he was sharing the journey. I was closer to that old truck than I was with anyone. I do admit that I had plenty of conversations with her though. All the time, actually. She was a pretty good listener, that's for sure. But it's funny, in the war, my buddies and I stopped using first names. We came up with nicknames, things like that. It seemed at the time that we were all just close, you know? But I wonder if maybe it was something else. Maybe it was a way for us to not get too close, after all. Makes me wonder, you know? I think on that for a minute. The girl in the green dress captivated me. She unassumingly commanded my attention. There was something about her that just drew me in, captivated me. But when I learned her name, it became personal, intensely personal, and we shared a connection. And then I had to go. I had no choice. I cared too much for her to put her through what always has to come. I cared too much for her to put her through what would have to come, what always has to come. I cared for her. It only took one night and a name. I think you may be onto something there, sir. We both spend the next few hours in total silence, except for a brief stop for fuel, roadside coffee, and a bathroom break. Two travelers sharing a journey. It was a good day. The sun was beginning to show the age of day, the trees were beginning to cast shadows over the road, and the road signs were beginning to reflect that golden sunlight that golden sunlight so characteristic of long summer days. Cedar, 30 miles. Damn it. I shifted in my seat and watched the sign as it approached with increasing speed, my eyes following it as it passed by. Cedar Maine. Now that's one of those towns that you'll miss if you blink too long. You look like you recognize it. I sigh and nod. You know, that coffee sure is running through me. I think we'll try not to blink when we get to Cedar so I can enjoy the last civilized bathroom for hours. The truck comes to a gradual stop in a gravel pull-off. Heavy tires crunching, air brakes squealing, engine slowing to an idle, everything slowing down. The trucker sets the brake and cuts the engine off, a shudder through the big vehicle implying a little more than a brief stop. He lifts the door latch, half opens the door, one foot reaching for the running board. I'll be a little bit, so feel free to stretch your legs. There is a hint of something in his voice, almost a knowing tone. This guy really is intuitive for having spent so much time alone on the road. Goes with the territory, I suppose. I'll see you in a bit, buddy. There is a hint of wry, crooked smile on this trucker's face. Okay, we're gonna leave off here. That's the end of part 4. I know it's about to get real good where we're gonna be leaving off, but that's gonna be the end for now. So I hope you guys are looking forward to the next one, because I know I am. Make sure you leave a like to let me know that you're enjoying this series, and I'll, see you next time. I hope. You better be there. I'll be looking for you. I'm keeping attendance back here, you just don't know it. Have a swell day.